All right, let's kick this off with a really big question, a real what if. What if scarcity, that core economic idea that there's just not enough to go around? What if that isn't some iron law of nature? What if it's just outdated software, an old operating system running our entire civilization, one that our technology is making obsolete, like right now? Today, we're going to dive into this incredible framework for the future, pulling from Andrew Turtle's work on abundance. And this quote, man, it just nails it, right? The roadblock to a world of plenty isn't that we're missing some brilliant new gadget. It's a social thing, a psychological one. It's about us, as a civilization, finally growing up and rewiring our collective brain away from the fear of not enough and toward a trust in our power to provide for everyone.
So to really wrap our heads around this, we're going to take a little journey. We'll start with the end of scarcity. Then we'll look at the world we're in now, check out the messy transition phase we're all living through, define what a new economy could look like, and finally, imagine what all of this could mean for what we do with our lives.
Okay, so let's frame this whole thing. Think of it less like a political movement and more like a massive technical upgrade. We're talking about upgrading society's core programming, our civilizational operating system.
First, we gotta understand our starting point. So, welcome to what the source material calls Day 2. This is the world we all know, and, well, the world we know. It's a global system built entirely around one super powerful principle: scarcity. The belief that there's simply not enough. And you can see how the logic of Day 2 works here. It all starts with industrialism based on extraction, just taking stuff from the planet. Naturally, that leads to fierce competition for those limited resources, which then fuels rivalry between people, companies, and even entire countries. In this world, your survival is tied directly to your labor. You have to work to live. And the markets, their job isn't just to help us trade. Their primary function is to ration all this scarcity. I mean, in a world of not enough, this whole setup makes a certain kind of brutal sense.
But here's the thing. That old system, it's starting to show its age. The code is getting buggy. And that brings us to where we are right now, the Day 3 transition. This is the messy, chaotic, but honestly super exciting middle ground, where the foundations of that old scarcity world are really starting to crack.
So what's causing these cracks? Well, this isn't science fiction. It is happening all around us. Just look at these trends. Renewable energy. In many places, solar is now the cheapest electricity in history, cheaper than coal or gas ever was. We've got automation advancing at a dizzying pace, changing the whole meaning of work. We're growing food in warehouses without soil or sun. And digital stuff, you can copy it 1 billion times for basically free. Our technology is literally outgrowing our economy.
And this table just lays out that journey perfectly. Let's just take energy for a second. In Day 2, we had centralized fossil fuels, a scarce resource. Now in Day 3, renewables are becoming the cheapest option, disrupting everything. And that points towards a possible Day 4, where clean energy is so cheap and plentiful, it's just a basic utility, like tap water. You can see that same exact pattern for food, for housing, for information.
Okay, so this all leads us to the main event. What does this new Day 4 world, this upgraded operating system, actually look like? Well, this brings us to the core concept, the utility economy. Now, this is a really critical point. We're not talking about a welfare state. That's just a patch on the old, scarcity-based system. This is a whole new architecture. It becomes a structural necessity when the cost to make essential things drops to nearly zero. I mean, when something becomes ridiculously cheap to produce, trying to sell it like it's rare isn't just unfair, it becomes economically irrational. It's like trying to put a price tag on the air we breathe. And you can see how this would happen, right? It unfolds in these pretty logical stages. First, technology makes production radically cheaper. Then, AI and automation make distribution insanely efficient, and at that point, any moral argument for keeping it from people just evaporates. Why would you deny someone food or energy when it costs almost nothing to provide? Eventually, universal access just becomes the most stable, most logical way to run a society. So the pillars of this new economy are the very things we all need to live a secure, dignified life. By making these basics universally available, just like public roads or clean water in many places today, the utility economy does something amazing. It frees up human potential from the constant grinding pressure of just trying to survive.
And that freedom, that's what leads to the most profound change of all. Because an economic system that removes that deep, constant fear of survival doesn't just change how we live, it has the potential to transform the very purpose of what it means to be human. I mean, just look at this contrast. On the left, you've got the day 2 world. It's organized around survival. You work to get money to get access to things you need. The driving force is fear of not making it. But on the right, you have the day 4 world. When survival is the guaranteed baseline, our purpose can shift from asking, what do I have to do to live, to what can I do to contribute? The whole society gets reorganized around possibility.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? Think about that. Imagine a world where when someone asks you, what do you do? They're not asking about your job title or how you pay rent. They're asking how you share your gifts with the world through art, science, community, whatever. That's the ultimate payoff of abundance, freeing the human spirit to create, to explore, and to care.
So the takeaway here isn't a fixed prediction, not some crystal ball. It's really a question for all of us. As these technologies of abundance get faster and cheaper, we all get a say in what kind of world we build with them. So I'll leave you with this to chew on. If your survival was totally guaranteed, what would you create? What problems would you want to solve? How would you choose to contribute?